What's up, world? This is Justin from Friends, Facts, and Fiction podcast here. Oh, thank you. I see you in the back. All right, yeah. What's up, boy? Anyway, have you ever, thought about doing your own podcast or maybe like listening to new podcasts? Well, Anchor FM helped us out a lot, and let me tell you about it. It's a free app. It makes podcasting super easy. You can record and edit your podcast from your phone or computer using this app, and they also distribute your podcast all over, like Spotify, Apple, Google. Basically everywhere. And you can make some money eventually, as long as you got people listening or subscribing. Did I mention it's free? So you can just download it just for shits and giggles, or you can actually use it for its benefits. But Anchor FM, it's a free app. Just download it today. Why are you playing?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Friends, Facts, and Fiction. As always, this episode is made possible by our local convenience stores, the misappropriation of history, and you. And now to your hosts, Justin Hammonds, Grant Bramlett, and Drew Shellnut.
What's up? What's happening, world? This is Friends, Facts, and Fiction podcast, episode 12. The Blackout episodes continue. Today, we're going to get into, the reconstructive period after the Civil War and all that good stuff. But before we get into all them facts, we have an illustrious guest on the podcast today. Mr. Kevin Wurm over here. Photos by Wurm, my guy. What's up with you, baby?
Man, nothing much. Chilling with y'all good-looking fellas in these. Just so y'all know, if they won't say it, they're all wearing jumpsuits right now. And the motherfucker across from me has gold on his sleeves.
Straight up.
If only you could pick the audio up of his jumpsuit.
It's loud.
Yeah, it's
It
loud
would be.
as hell.
You would have to turn it down.
Yeah.
Glad to be here, fellas. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. Good to have you, man. Looking at Drew Shellnut.
That's me.
Tracksuit shorty.
Oh, loud suit shorty over here.
Loud too short.
Yeah. And my boy Grant Bramlett over here, finally joining the jumpsuit tracksuit vibe.
When it's time, it's time.
Yeah. Hey, you still repping the short sleeve button up mafia though. You still repping that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
I'm just making sure. It seems like you're on this side now. You know what I'm saying? You're on the tracksuit side now. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm seeing.
Grant, when you came to the door, I looked up and I was like, does this motherfucker have on a jumpsuit? Mm-hmm. And then I walk in. Y'all had on jumpsuits.
It's like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the
All
wave.
This is
bro.
how we doing shit. All right.
Yeah, it's the wave, dog.
Well, we just assumed you'd bring your camera, so
Got you.
Yeah,
gotta be ready for
This
photos.
was premeditated.
Yeah. Gotta be ready for the
Got
photos.
Well,
bro.
honestly, the whole second, we've got this is revving up for the second season. This is just kind of a taste.
So we're gonna do Where in the World is Friends, Facts, and Fiction. And we're gonna be like mobily out here recording. So we're gonna be in these active wear jumpsuits everywhere we go.
Yeah.
right.
You feel me?
Right.
Dry fit.
Yeah. Mine is. I don't know about them.
Mine is.
Definitely. Your sleeves aren't dry fit.
Nope. Nope. Don't get that wet.
Them shit's a super real.
Gold turned from gold to green.
Yeah. Turn up. Yeah. But yeah, man, like I said, today we're gonna dive into like some deep shit. But we have a little bit of comic relief here with the homie. And man, I want you to tell the people about the little Minneapolis trip you took, bro. Like, I know you're out here, like, documenting this civil rights movement happening now. You know what I mean? And you're on the ground when the bomb dropped, pretty much, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was crazy, man. So Floyd died that Monday, which was Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And of course, that's all that you see. So I didn't want to watch the video. Well, I watched a little bit of the video.
I couldn't watch the whole thing for months.
I couldn't watch it for days.
Yeah.
So Thursday came. I'm sitting having lunch, and I watched the entire video.
Yeah.
At a bar in in Cool Springs, of all places.
God.
I mean, it's just
Wow.
so ironic.
Yeah.
So I can't be like, man, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
And then, I'm in Cool Springs. But anyways, watched the entire video, and I was like, that's some bullshit.
Yeah. Straight up.
And so Minneapolis is just starting to pop off. I was like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Hop in the whip and get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the reason, I had the means.
Yeah.
And so that night I booked a flight and Airbnb, and that Friday night, the next day, shot off to Minneapolis, man.
Yeah.
Got out there about 10 o'clock, and I get to my Airbnb, and I wanted to be centrally located so I wouldn't have to. Hell, Airbnbs probably wasn't going. Well, they were going, but I wanted to be centrally located, so I'm not spending a ton of money getting from here to there.
Of course.
I'm not renting a car.
Yeah.
Dog, my Airbnb was probably the epicenter of Minneapolis.
Holy shit.
It was crazy. I get out of my Airbnb, and there's a guy walking by me with like 3-4 cases of Modelo, and I'm like, I put 2 and 2 together real quick.
Yeah. Like, they just hit the station. You know
Right.
what I mean?
So
Straight up.
I'm gonna hit him. I was like, yo, let me get a case.
Exactly. What's up?
Anyways,
Yeah, boom.
probably take that out.
Yeah.
But
Good.
and you get out of the car, man, it's like the smell, when you pull up to a bonfire, that smell of burning shit.
Yeah.
And I get out of the car and I have that smell, and sidetrack. Even still now, like when I smell some shit driving down the road,
Yeah.
I think of
That
Minneapolis.
visual. Yeah. Your
So-
brain goes to that visual.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, of
So
course.
now I can relate to. I'm not saying that I have PTSD
No.
or can relate to any soldier who has gone and seen
But a
some
little blink of it, a little flash.
There's a
of
little.
like, oh, damn.
There's a droplet of it, and so I think of Minneapolis. But get there that Friday night, and I didn't have to leave a 2-mile circumference of my Airbnb to see. Actually, to every picture that I took in Minneapolis was probably a 2.5 mile from my Airbnb.
That's crazy,
Damn.
bro.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the photos, man. Like you were like beside the burning buildings, like
it was
next to armed troops, like
In there.
out here with the shits,
In
bro. Like
there.
all the way in there, bro.
there.
That's crazy, dog. That's intense, man. I commend you for documenting the history, though, man, because those visuals need to be seen.
Absolutely.
And
for sure.
yeah, you're killing it out here, man.
Thank you.
Photos by Wurm, man. Check the homie out, man.
Definitely. They're fantastic.
like,
you
for real.
do
Thank you. Appreciate
a
it.
very, very good job.
The homie,
Honestly.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say illustrious guest. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and slide into these facts. No song of the day today. We're gonna slide into these facts.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah, so we ended the last one leading up to the Civil War, right? And everybody knows about the Civil War. There's too much documentation on this battle, that battle, and all that kind of stuff, But real quick, I will say, at the beginning, the South was winning for a while, right? And at the same time, black refugees from the South were trying to escape into the Union,
Yeah.
and they were accepted in there, but they were basically considered like refugees,
Bogging them down.
Yeah, and it was bogging them down, like because they were having to allocate like food and shelter and everything like that to these slaves that were leaving, right?
Yeah.
And out of a military necessity, Lincoln finally decides to emancipate the slaves, and that powerful statement ended up shifting the war. And
Of course. When you get more slaves to join the Union to fight rather than just like be refugees, now you got more African slaves in the Union than you do Confederate soldiers.
ended up being 200,000 of them.
Yeah, it's fucking wild, bro.
Yeah, so that really turned the war in the Union's favor. And at the same time, it goes from the idea of like separation and states' rights and all that kind of shit to slavery.
It's about slavery.
That's
bro.
what that war became.
Oh, for sure.
Literally
Very,
what
very
it's
quickly.
about,
you know?
straight up.
And it's kind of why the war started, but
To real quick before we dive into Reconstruction period, just to like tap on Civil War, like in every Civil War, once the one side gets defeated, they get exiled, executed, like banned from society.
Right.
They just let these Confederates just go back home, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Initially causing the issues we still have today. They just let them just go back home. And Lincoln, in turn, never really had intentions on making black people equal to white people.
That's
He did
probably
this-
the reason why he just let them go back home.
Yeah, exactly. Because he wanted the economy to fucking survive.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Right.
And the South was fucking America's economy.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he's seen these slaves as a fucking route to have more troops. Because the first wave of troops that come to these Union spots are black troops. They literally just threw black people out there first. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're basically protecting their neck, but winning the war at the same time.
No, seriously. I mean,
You know what
they
I'm
were
saying?
kind of viewed as like fodder, right? I mean, they were pawns in the war. They just kept throwing black people
fucking crazy,
on the front line or whatever. And honestly, I feel like these black people were more than willing to do that.
Yeah, because it's slavery or die, bro.
Yeah, what's the
Like,
other option?
straight up.
Yeah,
Like,
you know what I mean?
What you gonna
And-
do?
Yeah.
I'm on the front lines. Let's get it. Like,
Yeah.
straight up. Like
Absolutely.
that's how I feel about it.
They had the opportunity to
To go kill a white
potentially,
man.
yeah, to kill their former master. You know what I mean? Like that's
That's enough motivation, bro. I just say that.
I mean,
enough
it's
motivation.
very it's kind of similar to the last episode that we had with the lady who crossed into Ohio
Oh yeah,
and ended up like slitting her daughter's throat and trying to kill her two sons.
Right.
because she's
and-
been a good mom in her eyes.
and
Because
so-
it's either they're going back to slavery or they're going to die here with
Right.
me.
Right.
So of course
rather them
these,
die here
these,
with me than go
these
back to
guys
slavery.
going in to fight for the war, that's a step up.
Yeah.
You know? That's like I can actually get revenge a bit.
Bro,
you
you
know?
gave me a uniform
Right.
and a gun and
Yep.
said,
And
go
a
kill
gun.
white folks.
Let's go.
And a gun, bro.
And a gun.
Go kill white folks.
Right.
Word? Say less. Where we at? Let me say
Not
less.
only kill white people, but to end slavery.
The end slavery.
Right.
Exactly. Like
It's like-
straight up. Like,
Of
yeah,
course.
let's ride.
Either
Like,
I'm gonna die here or
bro,
die
point
in
me,
slavery.
point me in the direction, dog.
Right.
Like I go on foot, I don't even need a horse.
Right.
Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
So, the Union won, and we became a full country again. That's awesome, right?
I wouldn't say that, but
Well,
we became a country.
duh.
Still a full country, I'll tell you that.
By the way, that ended, just to remind everybody, 250 years of slavery.
Yeah.
250
Well,
years of slavery.
and that's slavery in America.
Yeah.
Africans have been enslaved at that point for
Sure.
400.
But I'm
500
just
years.
talking about America here.
Oh, of course.
North America.
Yeah. But, slavery's over, and, I mean, the future for them is just massively unclear, right?
What do we do?
What do you do
We're
now?
free,
right?
but we still can't have shit.
250 years.
Yeah.
You get ripped from your homeland, you go through this atrocity, and most of the people that came over on the Middle Passage or whatever, they're already dead. These are children and grandchildren and great grandchildren.
This is 3 generations, 4 generations down the line to where they have no idea where they belong in the world at all.
Don't even know where their roots come
the
from.
idea
at
of
that
Africa
point.
itself has faded at this point.
Yeah,
Right,
for
right.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Domestication.
Exactly.
Western domestication.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do we do?
Right.
Where do we go?
Yeah.
We can't own anything, but we should because y'all took this land from these Confederate people. So what's up with these acres, these fucking 100,000 acres? Maybe we can get 40 acres of that and a mule, maybe?
Right.
Let's
And
push for
that's
that.
like, we kind of view that whole concept of 40 acres and a mule as ironic now, right? Because looking back, that was total bullshit.
Right.
But at the time, that actually came from a black community. The General Sherman and the Secretary of War, a man named Stanton, met with 20 black community leaders led by a 67-year-old Baptist minister named Garrison Frazier.
That's a great quote.
He said, "The best way we can take care of ourselves is to have land and turn it and till it by our own labor. We want to be placed on land until we can buy it and make it our own. I would prefer to live by ourselves because there is a prejudice in the South that will take years to get over."
Years.
So I think that's really important to think about the fact that, this man he's 67 years old and he's been living in this shit for that entirety of it. And he clearly sees that it has to be them developing their own
land.
community,
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 So they ended up agreeing, which
Even
is
when we try that, they fuck us up though. But we'll get to that.
right, which is awesome. They doled out 400,000 acres for former slaves, and even gave a few of them some leftover war-torn mules to help them till that land.
Just the broken down ones.
Yeah.
Right. It's a shit deal, right?
Yeah.
But at least they've got some hope. You know what I mean? They've got an opportunity to try and make something.
And this is all in talks. It's never really comes to fruition for them.
They had it briefly.
Yeah.
But then a year later, Lincoln got shot, assassinated.
And boy, Andrew Johnson was like, "You was trying to get them what? No, bro.
Yeah.
Get that back to the white folks. What's wrong with y'all?"
That was one of the first
Literally,
things
that's
he
his
did
thing.
in
Yeah,
office. Once he
straight up.
became president,
You gotta
because
quit.
Lincoln got shot, one of the first things that Andrew Johnson did was repeal that.
You got to quit saying your boy.
And Andrew Johnson ain't your boy, bro.
Fuck that douche.
No, sir, he is not my boy.
Word. Good to know, man. I'm glad y'all fighting the good fight.
So, like you were talking about earlier, all of that confiscated land, like the Union took 400,000 acres.
Yeah.
Johnson becomes president, and he just gave it back to the former plantation owners, the former slave owners of the South. Just gave it right back to them,
It's like, cool.
leaving these former slaves with nothing.
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
It's like,
Again.
it was a cool thought, bro, but nah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't do that for
you know, they continued to hold on to hope, and a lot of them spent their time trying to find their former family members. You know,
because you got to remember,
mothers
they used to
looking
get
for
sold off.
children that were stolen from them. You know, during slavery, everything. There were thousands of like wanted ads or you know little things put in newspapers.
Put in newspapers, yeah.
You know, I'm looking for this person. I'm looking for my child. I'm looking for my husband.
Bro, and at
wife,
least
whatever.
minimal, they gave them that to at least put it in a fucking newspaper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
You got to think about that being a major thing as well. Them having the right to even put in an ad in a newspaper. I'm looking for my mom. She was sold in this state type shit.
Yeah.
Like, they were able to do that at least. You know what I mean? Like, this shit heavy.
And I mean, you know, now they're allowed to get married and they're allowed to work in the way that they want to, right? Like I'm going to come work on this, you know, cotton field
Or work the house or whatever.
or the house or whatever.
But I'm leaving.
But I'm leaving.
when I'm done.
I get to go home.
Man, my
right?
kids
You
ain't
know?
coming to work for you either.
Right.
Like, I can actually I can say that now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Think about that.
My
shit, bro.
kids
Like,
get to go to school
crazy.
now.
Yeah.
You know, they get to learn how to read.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's horrible that's
It's fucking
a step up. You know what I
It's
mean?
wild, dog.
You know, and they got the opportunity to build churches and schools, you know, and the work they did on the plantations was for crap wage, and the conditions still sucked, but they could at least define their labor and reclaim their right as a human being, you know.
Exactly.
They didn't want to do that. They didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
You know? Unfortunately, most of the time they had to be able to survive, but that was still their choice.
Right.
You know, and that's a really big deal.
It's a big step forward.
Yeah.
From like a decade prior.
Right.
It's a major step forward.
Yeah. And obviously, you know, we're talking about cotton. That was still massively lucrative, you know, as far as
Cotton was king.
yeah, exactly. A man named Benjamin Montgomery, actually, he got the opportunity to purchase the land from Joseph Davis.
Who was the brother of Jefferson Davis. And if you know that damn name, you know he was the president of the Confederacy.
Yep.
So this former slave, Benjamin Montgomery, bought a house that the president of the Confederacy built.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yep.
And killed it in the game. Like, he was the third highest gross salesman in Mississippi. And Mississippi was the highest grower in the country.
Right.
So
Which
he was
means
the
the
third.
world.
Yeah, the world.
Yeah.
He was the third grossing fucking cotton farmer.
Mm-hmm.
And he also brought in his former like slave people that he was working with, brought them in and gave them a platform to make their own way of life by farming on his fucking plantation.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And literally, bro, the only way he kept it alive is these white people were like, that's dope. I'm happy for you. Like, you getting all these rewards, but they can't know you black. so stay in the house.
Yeah.
So literally, bro, he literally stayed out of the limelight and just kept shit going and churning as long as nobody knew that he was the black dude. Literally,
Basically, yeah.
That's
I mean,
literally-
like, for real.
that's what the fuck it was. Like straight up, it was crazy. And for a long time, he did that. But I wish that he'd have taught his son a little better, because Isaiah Montgomery, he was an all right guy. But he kind of fucked up shit for the whole black race eventually. But he did found Mon Bayou in Mississippi. It's an all black community, and he was elected mayor, and he was active Republican politician. You gotta remember, at this time, there's a bunch of black politicians in office because blacks could vote, and people who supported Confederacy could not vote.
Yeah.
And that tension's gonna come up later on. But back then, he was going to a constitutional convention, and he basically agreed to, like, in order to save his black community that he built up in Mount Bayou, he agreed for literacy tests and tax fucking poll taxes and stuff to be able to vote, which most black people that could vote were illiterate and definitely didn't. Taxes were not in their fucking
They didn't have the money
at
to pay for
all.
that.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So he basically, in turn, to protect his black community, Isaiah Montgomery, the son of Benjamin Montgomery, he literally, to protect his community, he was like, okay, cool, I'll agree to this law if you just leave Mount Bayou alone. Not realizing that would destroy black democracy for a long time.
Yeah, I mean-
and take us back years on
Right.
what we had just
I mean,
got to.
They needed
You know
the
what I
right
mean?
to vote, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they needed their voice in politics to be able to establish some semblance of a real life. You know? And
Man, when you're governed by people that don't look like you, then it's not going to be
exactly
the
yeah,
right
yeah.
type of government. Yeah. You feel me?
Yeah,
Like,
and you know, white people at the time were constantly trying to suppress this. You know, even northern politicians knew that if black Southerners were able to vote and elect delegates, that would skew the status quo
Yeah, for
massively.
sure.
You know,
Yeah, they're
So
scared of that shit.
if you think about like the 3/5 rule or law or whatever, like during
the
slavery,
clause,
you
yeah.
know, that's immediately flipped, and so you have a vast majority of these southern states are black voters now. You know.
Yeah.
That could fuck up their shit, you know,
yeah, for sure.
easily, you know.
And a lot of these blacks were Republicans, and that forced like Southern Republicans to kind of like go over to the Democratic side, and then that was the beginning of that first little flippity do that they did a lot. These motherfuckers are all the same, bro. Anyway,
Straight up.
yeah, for
Yeah,
real.
no, seriously, yeah.
Like, that's real life.
But the Republicans in the North took advantage of this, right? They passed the 14th Amendment, giving citizenship to black people, and then the 15th Amendment, giving black men the right to vote, leading to black legislators in Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, right?
Yeah.
2,000 black Americans held office from 1868 to 1876. We're talking about sheriffs, justices of the peace, mayors, senators, House of Representatives,
And
congressmen, man.
Like,
Roll
yeah.
damn Tide.
2,000, man.
Yeah, think about not learning that in high school.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
how many black Americans are in, like, hold positions of political office now?
Probably about
Roughly
the same.
the same, but
Yeah.
we're
But like,
talking
we're talking now compared to back in the 1800s. Like, that's crazy. to
fucking
think about.
crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And that threatened the shit out of old Whitey.
Yes, it did.
They be scared of that black greatness, boy.
So the small freedom allowed to black Americans was slammed shut, and all levels of white society reacted very negatively to that.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all a little warning. Take a shot right now. Or
Yeah, this is
settle
rough.
in. It's about to get rough.
I'm gonna make Drew take this.
All right, great. Hold on, let me take a sip of this Quee real quick.
Yeah,
Oh, Queeler to the neck, as our host Justin likes to say.
yeah. Queeler to the neck,
Little
baby.
Queeler to the neck. So in 1866, during the Louisiana Constitutional Convention. Ex-Confederates, police officers, and regular store-brand white folks. You know, like people I was raised by.
The great value, if you will.
You know, woo!
Private selection.
Yeah, that's a private stock. They attacked black Republicans in New Orleans. They killed any women, kids, and black persons they could find. 238 people were killed, most of whom were black. Surprise, surprise.
And that's in 1 year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
This is all about them trying to vote.
Mm-hmm.
So to suppress the vote, bro, they just started killing people.
Oh, yeah.
This is when the KKK started establishing their
you can't.
shit in the country. They just started killing people, bro. It's
So
fucking crazy.
historians estimate that in Pulaski, Tennessee, which is about an hour from here, the creators of KKK committed 1,300 murders during the run-up to the 1868 election. The same year in St. Bernard Parish, Louisiana, white Democrats dragged somewhere between 35, and this is, again, like another one of these fucking number things that's in every episode.
The history
between 35 and 200.
Oh,
Exactly.
shit.
35
So, you know, kind of a bit of a blur there.
30-50?
Yeah, exactly.
It was purposefully not documented.
Well,
No,
and
yeah.
it's also probably a low ball. You gotta think about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's definitely
If they put a number to it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, so they did this, you know, to essentially
they took them from their homes and everything.
not allow people to, or not allow the black people to be able to vote.
Right. Like literally, the thing was, if you look like you're going to vote, they killed you.
Yeah.
Like if you're on a road that led to a voting poll office, they would kill you. Like you know what I mean? Like
And these are, my bad.
no, go ahead.
These
bro.
are probably the law, who you would call when someone kills someone.
yeah.
These are the people doing these
Yeah, oh yeah,
killings.
yeah. Bro, these are sheriffs and people that they deputize under them to police the streets in order to not let black people vote because they were that afraid of that many black people being in fucking politics.
This is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, bro.
Like, can you imagine?
Speaking of night.
No,
You think
I
can't
can't
about-
imagine it.
No,
I
and I don't-
legitimately can't.
Don't want to.
You think about
You know,
think about
Jesus
the people that are like, 30 or 40 around this time that went through slavery, seen us get freed, had the right to vote, and now you're terrorized every damn day again, just because you can have something.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's genetic trauma that's still passed down in people to this day, bro.
And think
Like,
about
it's
how
genetic
important
trauma that's fucking
voting
seeped in.
was to these freed people. Like, we're not talking about hopping in your car and driving to the local elementary school around the corner.
You have to.
They're walking.
You're walking, or
dirt
you
paths
have
for
a fucking
25 miles to write in what you want to do.
Then walk the fuck back.
And
Yeah.
then walk the fuck back.
Exactly.
Instead of that happening,
If you can make it
they're
there.
pulled off the path. Like you're walking. They literally, in some situations, they hop out of the bushes.
Yeah.
And then fucking hang you from a tree.
These are dirt paths, mind you.
Yeah.
Like these are not bustling streets.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like
and we were
talking about the backwoods of Louisiana and Mississippi and Georgia and South Carolina. These are not bustling cities, bro.
Well, I mean, we were talking about like in that 1 year you asked. Well, just in the fall of 1868, in the town of Opelousas, Louisiana, members of the Knights of the White Camellia,
which is another brand for KKK.
yeah, a bunch of bullshit, along with white Democrats, killed 200 to 300 black people and slaughtered 27 prisoners just in the fall.
Yeah.
Just in the fall. And it happened all over South Carolina as well, because, South Carolina was the central hub for slave trade anyway.
Charleston was the capital.
Charleston was the butthole.
Yeah, that was
What a stinky one.
Yeah, it's still stinky and it floods, and that's kind of, a good thing. Anyway,
If you're in Charleston and you're listening, we love you.
yeah, we love you. Just flood away.
Sorry about your past.
Yeah, sorry. Sucks for you.
Anyway,
Yeah, anyway. Altogether, 1,500 were killed to prevent them from voting. One of the things you must remember is that in many of these states, the Union soldiers in charge of upholding the law of the nation, not just in the South, were black.
Yeah.
You have to imagine how pissed off the white ruling class was at this point,
because they're being enforced by a black troop.
Right. So,
Hey, you're a Union soldier. Go and make sure the South is doing the right thing. You mean I gotta listen to this black boy with a gun. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that was their visual. And that's why the fucking KKK took over some states, is because they seen black soldiers with guns. They didn't see American troops. They seen black slaves with guns.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
Well, hell, in Lawrence County, South Carolina, the governor had to declare martial law just in that county because, you know, thousands of white KKK sympathizers attacked, you know, black freedom fighters and everything that were trying to, you know, get to the ballots. And, you know, that was, you know, a big thing there.
They did that because they tried to stuff the ballot box.
Yeah, exactly.
And they failed.
Yeah, they failed.
And so their second reaction, or plan B, if you will, is to just kill them.
Yeah. Well,
That's what they go to every time. Just kill them.
Yep. And in North Carolina, there was an actual 2-year war.
So this is the KKK shit I was talking about.
Yeah.
Shit's
In the
real.
Kirk-Holden War. You can look it up.
Shit's crazy, bro.
Look it up.
Look it up.
Seriously, it's
Google
fucking
it.
nuts, man.
Google.
Seriously.
Yeah. Like, and just before you dive into this next little piece, because it gets real deep, and like the KKK taking over states for 2 years and killing a lot of American soldiers. It's the first time a terrorist group has ever done that on American soil. Anyway, just know that we're giving you some hot facts, but this is the tip of the iceberg to this time. And if you really want to dive in, I advise you to get a bottle of whiskey or tequila and dive in there. But we're going to give you these hot facts real quick. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Maybe smoke you a little bit of reefer, too.
Just had to interject real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
But yeah, in the Kirk-Holden War, the Army had to come in and fight the KKK, which is, you know, yay, wonderful. Racist white Democrats took up arms, arrested the leaders of the Army, Kirk, impeached North Carolina's governor, Holden.
Hashtag Kirk and Holden War.
Yep. Right. And removed him from office.
Yeah.
So the Union Army, the American National Army, comes in. The KKK overthrows that, pulls the elected governor from office.
Peterson. This is a 2-year war, bro, with the KKK in a state with the Army. And that's just one state.
You're talking about terrorists. I mean, these are...
Oh, no, let your boy tell it. Find people on both sides, baby. Find people on both sides.
Stop with
Again,
your boy
not your
shit.
boy, not your
God damn it, sweet potato with
not your boy.
butthole lips.
Actually, hold on. We ain't even going to let him come into this shit right now. We're going to leave 45 out. Anyway.
86-45.
Tell him about Arkansas, too, though, man, because that was in North Carolina.
Well, yeah, and Arkansas had to form a militia to fight the KKK. They basically had to travel across the state to fight the Klan. But they didn't just intimidate blacks from voting. They had another plan. They just assassinated the black candidates.
Yeah.
They just assassinated them.
Elected officials. Elected officials. They just
started
went
capping
through
them.
killing them.
Yeah.
What's up? What's happening, world? This is Justin, Drew, and Grant from Friends, Facts, and Fiction Podcast, and we're here to talk about Anchor.fm, the easiest way to make a podcast. Let's talk about it.
It's free.
It's free.
Uh-oh. They have all these creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will also distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I mean, anywhere you can really find a podcast. They'll throw it out there, bro.
And with no minimum listenership, they will also help you gain money.
Boom. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. I mean, download the free app right now, bro. What you waiting on? Let's go. Let's go.
This is the Arkansas Militia Wars. It lasted almost 2 years.
Another 2-year war with the KKK in a whole different state, mind you.
Yeah, right. Now, in all these incidents,
crazy, bro.
no whites were ever charged.
Of course not.
And white, racist Democrats managed to overthrow and use intimidation. Yeah. To just get their point across, essentially.
Violence and intimidation tends to be the way of the country, bro.
Yeah, I actually saw, I was watching a really fucked up documentary this morning about 6 a.m., talking about Mississippi.
This is where life has become, by the way.
And I just
Great
watched
start to the day.
Yeah, right.
6 a.m. Let me
Drinking a tear.
I'm telling you, bro.
Let me get in my tears real quick. But there's a great documentary. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It was caused by this rabbit hole of diving into the subject.
Yeah, the research has been.
But
immense.
I finally got into this one about Louisiana, and it was really fucked up in the case of, or not Louisiana, but Mississippi. Louisiana fucked up too, but Mississippi is like, they started the documentary off with like, there's the United States, there's the South, and then there's Mississippi.
Yeah, bro.
And that's essentially the way
Mississippi
it goes.
grew the most cotton. They were the most brutal to the slaves. And to this day, there's some back road sharecropping happening in Mississippi, bro.
For sure.
Like,
Oh,
to
yeah.
this day, bro.
Yeah.
Like, motherfuckers, I ain't even never seen a city type shit.
Oh, yeah,
It's out there
for
in
sure.
Mississippi right now. I know this for fact. You feel me? And like motherfuckers think this shit is yesteryear, and like, nah, bro, this shit has a lasting effect, and we will not see the end of this shit for another fucking century, probably.
Oh yeah, easy.
Like,
Until
honestly, dog. Like,
Yeah, I mean-
if I'm being completely real, my heart on the table, this shit is gonna last well after we're gone, bro. You feel me? And it's from this shit that we're.
well, you
talking
still
about.
have the stain of like what Grant and I grew up with, and we're like essentially forced to believe, if you will. And
we're
like
gonna get into
I
that,
talked
too.
to a couple of my family members, and I said, you know, I don't mean to sugarcoat shit, but here you go. Hopefully, and I hate to talk about your mortality, but hopefully my grandmother and my parents are the last of a dying race of racism. But like you said, it's not gonna be
it's
that
not
easy
either way.
because there's
not-
still
'cause it's not
people in our
systematic.
generation that are still sucking that proverbial hee-haw,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you know,
'cause definitely.
and they, it's their heritage.
Well, it's systematic now, and it's man, it's embedded in the culture, and even the way you look at something, bro. Like honestly, like I was talking to this Uber driver. This is a funny story. We'll get back to these hot facts. We're taking a tangent, but I was talking to this Uber driver one day, man, and he said, "Damn, bro, where you from?" I was like, "I'm from Alabama, man." Like, you know what I'm saying? Da, da, da. I was like, "Bro, I'm from New York, whatever." And he's like, "Man, I had this crazy story, man, because you know, I don't think myself as racist or whatnot." And I was like, "Oh, okay, this is about to be interesting. It's 8 a.m. I'm just trying to get to work."
Is this a white guy or black?
Black dude.
Okay.
And yeah, exactly. And because he started off like asking me some questions about some shit that's happening in society, basically. And we get to this point, and he's like, "I never consider myself racist, bro." And I was like, "Okay, hadn't had my coffee yet, but let's do this shit, then, bro."
Here we go.
And he's like, "Yeah, so I go to." I go to the fucking airport, and I'm supposed to pick up this chick named Tashonda, I think he said. And he pulls up to the airport, and there's this black chick and there's this white chick. You know what I mean? And they're standing close to each other, so his ping is like right there on both of them. So he pulls up to the black chick, of course, first, and it's like, Tashonda, right? She's like, "No, my name is Bethany." And the white girl was like, I'm Tashonda. And he said, bro, he said it fucked him up, bro. He said it fucked him up, bro. And I was like, oh shit, like, because in my mind I was like, "Oh, yeah, where'd you go?" Yeah, oh, twist. Like, and that's a situation of like, we don't even think about that's a racist thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's profiling. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But we don't even think about that as, you know, a bad thing, or like it's just like inherent. So it's so embedded so deep, it's going to take a long time to unlearn this shit, bro. And it shook him to his core. Like, he was literally just like, "Bro, I don't know how I feel about this shit, bro."
Right.
Because it happened to him, I guess, the ride before me or some shit. And he was like still shook about it. But I was like, damn, like this really fucked him up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's wild to think about it like that, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Wonder where Tashonda's from.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm
probably,
saying-
probably Oakland.
Oakland.
Maybe so.
It's a hard ass name.
I was actually going to say Mississippi or
I've
Kentucky.
never met a white
but
girl
yeah.
named Tashonda, but that's just me.
I've met one white girl named LaWanda
That's real.
Wow.
in Tuscaloosa.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Shout out to Winn-Dixie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We can get back to these hot facts.
Anyway, so in 1873 in Colfax, Louisiana, these 300 armed white dudes killed 100 black men over a contested outcome of the election results.
That's crazy.
They just straight up killed them.
It's like, I didn't like how the election went. You
Yeah.
probably voted for them.
Yeah,
We're gonna kill you.
we're just gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The logic,
the
man.
votes are in.
The fucking logic.
But let's just take them out. But one of the crazier stories is what happened to the original 33 in Georgia.
33 in Georgia, man. That
Yeah.
shit was
Fucking brutal. In 1868, the citizens of Georgia elected 30 black state representatives and 3 black senators to the state legislature. 24 were ministers.
y'all know white folks weren't having that shit though.
No. Not that they weren't.
Yeah. Right.
But first, they expelled 26 representatives. Then they removed 3 senators. 10 days later, they removed the final mulatto representatives from the office. Then they started killing them. Just start killing them.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, 1/4 of those black elected officials were jailed, beaten, or shot. Then the Georgia Supreme Court ruled that the elected officials had no right to hold office because their veins held African blood.
So I'm just go ahead and pop in here real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So they acknowledge that we have heritage, but have taken it from us for hundreds of years. They acknowledge that we have African blood, right? That's why we can't be in office. Yeah. But then, like, takes that from us in the same sense. Bro, like, the logic of this shit and, like, how just... And
then fast forward a couple hundred years and they fly a Confederate flag and call it what?
Yeah.
Heritage.
Exactly. It's fucking crazy.
So it's like, it's a slap in the face.
It's wild, man. And it's... Anyway, if you're a little tight right now,
we
understand. We love you. Take a shot. Maybe press pause real quick, get a breath of fresh air, come back. But a lot of these representatives, they started to march, and the supporters of these people that were being unjustly attacked, they had supporters because imagine being enslaved years ago, and then you finding out that like 30 of your peers are in the fucking state legislation. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and then forcibly removed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to march. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna march on this, like we always do. We march and we speak loud and we speak proud. And of course, this incensed the white people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And most of the reason why all these people got elected is because there were all these crazy laws in place before Jim Crow even happened, bro. There was all these crazy like laws and clauses and fucking like little deals, I guess. I don't know. But black man, if he had a gun, if a white man walked up to him and asked him for the gun, he was legally allowed to give it to him. Like legally, you're supposed to give the white man your gun if you're black and you had one.
Right.
Yeah. Think about that shit, bro. Yeah. Like, you can't even properly defend yourself. You know what I mean? But
one of the state senators that was removed from office, he reportedly had 400 armed guards with him.
That's crazy.
In that idea of like, you can't ask all of these 400
you can't get all these
black
straps.
men to give you all of their guns.
Yeah. One of them's going to clap on you.
Hopefully. Fucking so.
Bro,
right?
It didn't ring very brightly to the ears of the group, so the Citizens Committee told them to hand over their guns. They said no, and the white Democrats had no choice but to let them pass, right?
So these motherfuckers marching 25 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they get, I guess, encountered with a Citizens Committee.
Yeah, right. Citizens Committee.
See, when white people start throwing on that citizen, shit about to get sideways, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a citizen now. Yeah, okay, bro. Like, chill back, bro. So at least they got past that group. They should have just dumped on them in the first place, to be honest. 400 people should have just capped them. Yeah, to be real. But anyway,
they make it to an all-white town of Camille. The sheriff deputized pretty much all of the white, quote-unquote, citizens and armed them. When the black legislatures and marchers came through, they were all killed. Didn't stop there. For weeks, white Democrats roamed the Georgia countryside, beating, murdering, and lynching any black person who looked like they might vote.
Yeah. You ain't got to have there's no dog in the fight.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
It's just, it's not, and that might vote thing, it's just you're black.
Yes.
That's
exactly.
It ain't might vote. It's just you're black.
Yes. You're black. It's It's fucking ridiculous, bro.
I mean, in the entire history of America, this was the only non-wartime incident that the president of the United States suspended the constitutional right to habeas corpus, right?
Which is being detained without charged with a crime. Without being charged with a crime.
Yeah. The Third Enforcement Act, or the Civil Rights Act of 1871, basically spells out how the American government had to go to war with the early KKK.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine that shit, bro? Like, we might be on the brink of some shit like that right now.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
But the crazy fucking thing is that the KKK won.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the crazy shit about it all. They ruled 3 states, bro.
Yeah.
3 or 4 states. They ruled for like 2 years.
I know. A white supremacist army is the only army that ever defeated the U.S. Army.
It's fucking crazy, bro.
In 1874.
Don't give them ideas.
Fuck.
Jesus.
In 1874,
win
the
this time.
5,000 members of the Democratic White League literally overthrew the Republican Louisiana governor in the Battle of Liberty Place. In Colfax, Louisiana, the same fucking year, the White League killed 150 black people and assassinated Republican candidates.
Shit's crazy.
The same thing happened the same year in Coushatta, I think, Louisiana. I mean, they overthrew the government, you know?
This shit is crazy, bro.
It's fucking insane, man.
Oh, man. It's,
Not only did these terrorists, I mean, they're obviously terrorists. I mean, they're inciting terror to go against the rule of the nation.
bro, it's a terrorist society. Yes, it's a terrorist group.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
They used violence to oust democratically elected candidates from office. But they also changed the course of history. I mean, in 1876 election, racist Democrats cheated so bad that the Electoral College was basically disbanded. In South Carolina, they stuffed the ballot box so bad that 101% of eligible voters were represented.
Shit's crazy.
What?
Yeah.
101.
Okay.
101%.
my guy.
I mean, I don't know how the voter turnout was back then, but nowadays you're lucky to get like 40% of eligible voters to actually fucking vote for something. You know what I mean?
So the Electoral College ain't been about shit since the jump.
No, never has been, man. It's fucking insane.
That
Dude.
shit's wild, bro.
And in Florida and Georgia, they just created their own ballots. Some of the southern states just refused to give Republicans their electoral votes, regardless of their.
It's basically
results.
like, no, you're not getting it, or you can die right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's up?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll settle for not getting it. Cool.
Yeah.
Right on,
Yeah.
player. You know what I'm saying?
Do you want to win or do you want to die?
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
It's literally what they did.
Oh wait, you're gonna die either way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, ha ha ha.
Crazy.
Joke's on you. Yep.
And I think this all comes from this really fucked up sense of power, you know. And the white people at the time, they just assumed it was one or the other, not a shared situation, right?
Yeah,
it was
they
either
never
black
thought-
supremacy or white supremacy, you know. And I think that's why they combated it so hard.
They never thought an equal ever.
Right.
Ever, bro.
Right.
Never thought an equal ever. The people that came and saved y'all ass in fucking Europe are the same people that y'all bastardizing to this day. You know what I'm saying? And you never could see us as equal ever.
Right.
It was either black supremacy or white supremacy. That's where you're at. That's where you're fucking at.
Yeah.
That's where some of these dumbass motherfuckers still are, bro.
Oh yeah.
To this
sure.
fucking, it's like, bro, like what? Like, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, anytime black people would have some kind of success, you know, that just became a rallying cry for these types of violence, right? I mean, you know, all these lynchings would happen, you know, and Northern Republicans began to realign their support, you know, because they didn't want another civil war. So in 1876, this deadlocked presidential election led to both parties claiming victory. Instead, Congress decided to let a 15-member group go into a back room and decide what to do.
Sounds familiar.
And Rutherford B. Hayes was declared the winner by 185 electoral votes to Tilden's 184 electoral votes.
At least they made it seem close. You know what I mean? Like they made it seem like he just barely got there. You know what I mean?
And to make up for a Republican president, Congress and Hayes agreed to do 5 things. This is that backdoor deal. Put a Democrat in the cabinet, which he did. Remove the troops from the South, which he also did. To build a transcontinental railroad through the South, which that never fucking happened.
Hey, well, you don't want them to leave.
Right?
You got to force them to stay where they
And
at.
you don't want them to be able to fucking ship goods.
Exactly. Yeah.
and to help build the South from an agrarian economy to an industrial economy. They didn't do that.
No.
And
you gonna fuck up this money? Nah, bro.
yeah.
Come on.
And the South wanted the Congress and the president to assure them that they would not interfere in how Southern states treated its black citizens. That's a big fucking thing.
Because the South had money, so they ruled the fucking country, regardless if they lost the war or not.
Oh, yeah.
They had the money, bro. They had the economy in their pocket. You feel me? Like, it's literally...
Which is
fucking crazy.
Jim Crow. I mean, that's where fucking Jim Crow comes from.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna throw some hot facts about white hood, OKKK, real quick.
God damn.
So, shout out to Gambino, real quick.
Nice reference.
At least we can make this a little funny.
Yeah, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Interesting fact: the KKK actually started through the immigration of Scottish and Irish immigrants.
Yeah.
Mostly Scottish. Mostly Scottish. The Scots were essentially recruited to live in the bordering states of natives and French because their fighting spirit. Mm-hmm. They wanted to keep people out. They wanted to essentially create a buffer zone for potential invasions.
Well, they went up in the hills and shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Scot-Irish are the beginning of
so they initially just wanted to be on hilltops and have higher physical perspectives. So they would know where the enemies were. This actually created the term hillbillies.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But
initially, like, the whole KKK bullshit was a joke.
Oh, for sure.
They were just dressed up in costume. It was like theater for them.
Well, yeah.
And they were like playing instruments and shit and like kicking it in this back theater fucking situation in Pulaski.
Right. But
like,
what got them to that was they, the Scottish and Irish moved over because they were being oppressed, but they noticed that the biggest cash crop was cotton. Mm-hmm. And the only way to not bust their ass was to have slaves. So they essentially went from the oppressed to the oppressors. And then you have blacks that are able to vote and hold their own land. And this kind of rubbed them the wrong way. They were like, oh, shit, well, we've been oppressed for all these years, and we come over here and we're the oppressors, but you're giving the oppressed land, and now we have to fight for this over these people that we have oppressed. So 6 guys come back from the Civil War back to Pulaski, Tennessee. They come back to only one building standing, which is the courthouse.
Yeah.
And they're pissed off.
Because they've lost their businesses, they've lost their economy.
And so these 6 guys, like, they're just wanting to have their clan, because they have descended from Scottish and Irish, so they call themselves a clan. They're not necessarily blood related, but that's the way, things go with that.
That's an old heritage.
That's our heritage. Mm-hmm. This ain't my culture and heritage. But anyway, so they saw that shit going down, and so they started they got together initially to jam, if you will, starting playing music and chase girls around the town or whatever. Yeah. But they also had essentially a play every week. Mm-hmm. And these were based off of minstrel plays. Yeah. And which were, not always against or making fun of blacks, but 90% of the time.
Of course.
They were.
It was the depiction of,
It's where Jim Crow came from.
Yeah, but black people as animals, as savages, and then the white savior would come through in this fucking gown and shit. Like all this shit came from them just doing plays because they were fucking depressed assholes.
So these 6 guys,
they were pieces of shit that had nothing, and they wanted to make fun of black people, and then they ended up killing thousands of us, bro. That's fucking crazy.
Well, these 6 guys went from 6 guys to
chill back
right. Yeah. These 6 guys from this point in the late 1800s to 1925 turned into 5 million.
Jesus Christ.
The strongest political force in the United States in 1924 and 1925 was the KKK, because these 6 dudes had this one idea that turned the rest of the South into poly pissy pants.
It was.
So-
I think it was the what was his last name? McFord. I think was the guy that initially had violent thoughts.
Yeah.
and he pretty much started the whole rigmarole with the shit.
Yeah.
and it tumbled into, them
Well,
taking over
I mean-
states and killing fucking Union soldiers. And
was it Birth of a
still,
Nation or
the movie Birth of a Nation?
Yeah, movie Birth of a Nation is actually what, like, the KKK actually started to kind of quieten down a bit before
And then
that
that
because
movie-
people started saying this is fucked up, and then Birth of a Nation was put out, the movie, and this is what grew. It essentially took it glorified the KKK.
Yeah, they came and saved these white women.
Yeah, because
from
it
slaves.
switched the
exactly.
script.
It's
You know,
fucking
like
ridiculous.
black people were the oppressors and white people, were the oppressed. And
They
for
came
some,
and saved the day.
for some twisted fucking reason, all these white pieces of shit jumped on that fucking train and ran with it.
Well, you got to think back in those days. You're talking about 1915-ish. Back in those days, the picture show, if you will, is the most fucking ethereal situation for humans. It's like, oh my, let's capture my imagination. Like you're literally enthralling me, and I'm believing everything I see.
Oh shit!
Which-
They got moving pictures.
Well, and they show
It's like people with Facebook today. You believe everything you see on Facebook? Damn. You might as well be watching a goddamn minstrel show.
right. Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Correlation
it's
made.
true.
Yeah, like it keeps happening. It's not going away. I'm telling you. But yeah, that's why that was such an influence for the KK to come back. Though that movie literally, like, it was fucked up that they aired that shit at the White House, bro.
Yeah.
It was the first movie ever. It was the first movie ever fucking shown at the White House, and it was the most racially charged movie.
Jesus Christ, I did not
ever.
know that.
Yeah,
That's the first movie they put in.
first movie they ever aired
Fucking
at the
Go
White
Go
House.
Gadget America.
Yeah,
That was like the Mission Impossible of that day. I mean, it was
It was
Titanic of that
huge,
day.
bro.
Sure.
It was gigantic.
monster movie.
Yeah, it was gigantic.
Not to
bro.
compare it to any other bullshit movies, but it's essentially the African oppression version of what is it? Reefer Madness.
There you
Essentially, you know.
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
good
pretty
point.
much.
Good point.
I mean, it showed Gus, the main black character, which was the pivotal point in the movie, which was a proverbial rape scene, which nothing rapey ever happened. It just shows Gus chasing this white lady, who Gus is blackface white dude anyway,
Exactly.
chasing this white lady until so much that he's trying to rape her apparently, so much that she's afraid for her life and runs and jumps off a cliff.
Yeah.
She'd rather die than be raped
Yeah.
by a black guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So I can, bro, that whole we're gonna get deeper into that situation with the Jim Crow section, but just real quick before we slide up out of this KKK section, I got a little side story I'm gonna do real quick. So the year is like 2006, maybe 2007. I'm in high school and I'm into this chick. You know, she's a white girl. In my town, that was taboo in the first place. You know, what I'm saying?
Where's your town?
Elba, Alabama. I graduated with 67 people, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It's a big class.
yeah. It was solid.
Everybody could sit at the same lunch table.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, literally, we didn't know each other at all. Like, nobody knew each other's moms and nothing like that. You know, it's crazy. But, but yeah. So it was kind of taboo because I'm from a country town. But hey, I'm into all women. White girls is just one of my things. So I get to dating her and whatnot, and it was kind of like a low key. Like, nobody really knew we were dating. You know what I'm saying? Like, it never really happened like that. And anytime I go to her crib, I would like park behind the house, all this type of shit that I didn't thought nothing of it. It was just like normal to me. You know what I mean? Like, because that's just the type of shit I grew up in. Anyway, so she's giving me a ride from football practice one night, and she hits.
She's a cheerleader, right?
She was a cheerleader.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
fucking throw up right now. I was captain of the football squad. She was captain of the cheerleading squad. Anyway.
Humble brag.
Anyway, so she's giving me a ride back to my crib because I didn't have my car today or something. And she ends up hitting this guy on a motorcycle. And that crash kind of makes a newspaper. Anything makes a newspaper in that hometown, it's fucking like, it's everywhere in
The
like
talk
2
of the
hours.
town.
You feel me? And, me with her, oh shit, what is that? You know what I mean? So eventually, word gets out that we're dating, I guess, at this point. And one random Saturday night, I get a phone call. I'm chilling with the homies like usual Saturday night. I'm chilling with the homies. We playing spades. You know what I'm saying? We are not doing anything illegal at all.
Besides talking to a white girl.
Besides talking to a white girl, obviously. And, I get this phone call. And, back in them days, you had the razor. You know what I mean? Remember them razors, homie? And I looked and I was like, I don't really know that number. You know what I'm saying? But I flipped the phone open anyway. I said, what's up? What's going on? It's like, is this Justin Hammonds? It's like, the fuck? Yeah. Fuck is this? Like, well, I know who you date, nigga. I know who you're doing. I know what you're doing. I need you to come see me right now. County Road 8. And I was like, the fuck did you just say to me? And then my homie was standing beside me. He's like, let me see the phone, bro. Fuck, what did it just say? And he's like, what's up? Like, he's talking. I don't know what the fuck he heard. But he looked at me and was like, bro, we need to go over there right now. And I was like, let's go. Like, say less. Let's go. Because me being my fucking self-confident, conceited ass when I was fucking 17, I was fucking, let's go, bro. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, let's get it. So we hop in my whip. We like 5 deep in a 94 Camry. we ready. You feel what I'm saying? So I pull up or whatnot, and I pull up on the other side of the highway so I can walk across the street. And like at this point, I hop out the car. He's on the front porch. His truck is parked to the left of the house, and I'm walking across this fucking county road, barely lit. You know what I mean? Trailers along the highway, basically, or the county highway. If you know what the county highway is, you know what the county highway is. And walking across the street, and at this point, I'm taking off my shirt. Like, let's get it, homie. Like, come out in the yard, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, what's up? You talking that shit? Let's get it. And he literally, like, because I got 4 of my homies walking behind me, of course, because he has some more motherfuckers. Like, I ain't stupid. You feel me? So walking across the street or whatever, and I get in the yard, and he just runs to his truck real quick, and I'm like, that don't feel right. So I turned around, I was like, bro, let's go. And as soon as I say that, we run back to my car, and all I hear is, cop, 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 cop. And then all I'm hearing is, them shits. And then the truck pulls the fuck off. Luckily, nobody got hit. My car didn't even get hit because this motherfucker's probably drunk anyway. I hop in my whip. I duck off. We duck off back in the county roads and get back to where we were at. But not to my knowledge, at the time, this chick's father was involved with the KKK. Dude that called me is involved with the KKK. There's a chapter of the KKK very close to my hometown. You feel what I'm saying? Like where my mom actually lived at the time. It was very close. And I had no fucking idea about this. You feel me? Because like,
why would you?
Yeah, exactly. Why the fuck would I know this shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like,
They don't want you to know.
Yeah, it was told to me later on that like, this is a KKK situation that you got yourself into, bro. And I was like, nigga, why didn't y'all tell me this beforehand? Y'all gonna wait until I almost died? You know what I mean? Like, and like, let alone that shit didn't make the paper at all. You know what I mean? Gunshots fired on County Highway. That shouldn't make the paper. Right. About 2 weeks later, we see his truck. This is the ironic shit right here. Okay, we see his truck at a homegirl's house in the hood. Black cheerleader. This white dude.
No
at her crib. We're riding through the fucking hood, whatever. Not doing anything illegal, Mom, I swear. And we're pulling up in the cul-de-sac. I'm like, that's that. Everybody hopped out before I could put my car in park. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. They stomping this truck in, denting that motherfucker, trying to cut tires. I'm banging on the front door like, what's up, bro? Let's go. Oh, you gonna let this tiny cheerleader hold you back? Oh, so you a little bitch like that, huh? That's what you're doing, huh? That's what you're doing out here, bro? And like, we bounce. That makes the paper.
Huh. Of course it does.
Seriously.
Yeah, truck vandalized. Makes the paper. Shit's crazy, bro. And like, motherfuckers think that this shit is so far away. It was 06. I got death threats from the KKK when I was fucking 16, 17 years old, bro.
They shot at you.
Bro.
They weren't shooting to scare you away. They shot at you.
Yeah. And Mom, if you're listening, I love you. And I never told you that for a reason, but it's out there now. Anyway, and I'm still alive and I'm safe, I promise. But yeah, bro, I was 16, 17 and that shit happened. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, and people think that this type of influence does not affect us to this day. It's going to affect us for years to come, bro.
Yeah.
You know
We're talking about 15 years ago.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy, bro. Damn, you can put my age out there like that, bro?
Nah.
Damn, homie.
Nah. I said we're talking about 15 years ago. About 15 years ago.
Somewhere around. Well, I guess I put out there anyway.
Well, I'm the oldest one anyway.
06, so, you know,
sorry.
it is what it is.
Not that my voice, you know. So I grew up in a very similar situation to Justin. My graduating class is 52. Not when I actually transferred to another high school, which was a graduating class of 662. But where I grew up proper, piece of shit redneck town called Samantha, Alabama, in the outskirts of Northport, Alabama. Samantha is what they said. And if your name was Sarah, you were Sarah. So yeah, that kind of bullshit. But anyway, went to school, and I won't throw this chick's name out there just for her.
Yeah, don't
posterity.
Do no names, bro. That's why I didn't do no names.
Yeah, no,
like, I ain't trying to do that.
I'm not gonna throw Horse Girl's name out there, but her apparently Horse Girl. She was obsessed with horses.
Like Tina from Bob's Burgers.
Worse.
Oh wow.
But anyway, she prided herself that her grandfather was the Grand Dragon of the KKK. Grand Dragon. So we ain't talking about no little like, this is the dude who made the moves.
Yeah, this dude that wears the red.
Yep.
If you will.
Yeah.
If you know anything
Right.
about the shitty organization.
Right. And also, so that's kind of a delving into what I grew up around, and it was normal. Like, it wasn't anything that was like, I was like, oh, okay, your granddad's KKK dude, so are half the people that, I'm sitting here with.
In my situation, that's what I thought, like, years later, of course, because I was pissed about that for a long time. It took me a long time before I could even tell anybody that story. If you were not there that night, you didn't know about that shit until I was fucking like 22 or some shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as an adult now, I look back on it like, that's all they knew.
Yeah.
This is all I knew.
Yeah, so we
met in the middle, like,
we
what?
come from like
Wait,
opposite
what the
ends
fuck?
of the spectrum, but very similar.
Why you mad at me, bro? You're fucking a black girl. Like,
Right.
I don't know if they're fucking. That's why I paused. But you're with a black chick. I'm with a white chick. What's the difference here, dog? Like, why you mad? Like, you feel me? But that's all he knows is the press. You know what I'm saying?
I also
it's weird,
lived
bro.
on a street called, and I will throw this out there, Lester Taylor Road on the Lake Tuscaloosa. You guys in Tuscaloosa know where the fuck I'm talking about. I like to call it Molester Taylor. But at the end of the road, every Thursday night, it may have been Tuesday, I'm pretty sure it's Thursday, at 6 p.m., they had quote-unquote bluegrass meetings. And it was a well-known fact that at the end of the road was
much music, huh?
Was the KKK headquarters of Alabama in that time period. Yeah. Like, so their bluegrass meetings were very obviously not bluegrass meetings. Yeah. And living on that road, I always had this innate like fear of going that way. Yeah. Like going down to the end of the road, and this like you could feel spirits around you.
Bro, not to
like,
be morbid,
because
but ain't no telling what you might see.
Well, I mean, it used to be a swamp.
Yeah.
So I've seen some shit. That's another episode, like some crazy, ghostly ass shit out in that area. But it's
you can do some paranormal shit.
It's fucking real. It's real. Like I mean, and this, like Justin said, this is I said 15 years ago. This shit's still happening. Like 2 minutes ago.
Right now.
So I mean, shit's real. Keep your eyes open, especially if you're in these areas and fucking like, your voice needs to be heard, but watch your fucking mouth in certain areas just for your own fucking safety.
I will honestly say, man, coming from the South, if you're driving through the South and you're not from here, do not stop in Pulaski if you're black. Do not stop in Coleman, Alabama if you're black.
No.
And try to avoid East Tennessee as much as possible, unless you're going to Knoxville.
Avoid East Tennessee altogether.
Yeah.
Ain't shit in Knoxville for you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide,
Exactly.
They got some throw up colored fucking jerseys.
It's that inside the pumpkin orange.
Yeah.
It's that puke orange. That orange that don't sit well with me.
I don't like dogs.
Yeah.
I'm not a dog person.
I'm not a dog person. Oh my god. That's a good reference. If you're lost on that, just YouTube Bama fan hate Tennessee, and you will laugh because this episode was heavy and Roll Tide. But we're gonna end this one off real quick, and we'll be back next week with part 2 of this because it's a lot more we need to cover. Sorry if we made you get in your feels today, but it's got to be heard, man. It's got to be known. These are facts that you need to hear. Share with your friends, your mama now. You know what I'm saying? But here with Kev Wurm, I'm Justin Hammonds. That's Drew Shudnut. That's Grant Bramlett.
Sure is.
Friends, Facts, and Fiction. We out.
Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for the next episode. Find us on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on everything Friends, Facts, and Fiction. Our Instagram handle is friends_facts_fiction. As always, please reach out to us. You can send any of your questions, praise, and fact-checking to friends_facts_fiction@gmail.com. It's important to us to only propagate the truth, and we will correct any errors we may have made. This has been a production of Friends, Facts, and Fiction.